Week when I was here, I did mention that anecdotally, I believe personally that the government of the Gambia, under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, has by now.
Does it have a middle name?
Well, I don't know if that's such a middle
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
Has by now, since 2017 to date, created 150,000 jobs. I said we don't have the data itself, the empirical data, to prove that this is happening. We're currently harvesting the data, looking at all possible avenues where we can get the data by company registrations. We are looking at social security. We are looking at bank account openings. We are looking at many things. But what I have, which is empirically proven by data, is that from 2021 to 2020, 2018, no, 2021, 2022, we have created 33,000 jobs, 33,057 jobs.
Wow.
Within 1 year. Now, if you now, that's from 2021 to 2022. Now, from 2017 to date, we've registered about 120,000 MSMEs in this country. From 2017 to date, we have registered more than 120,000 MSMEs.
Micro, small, medium
enterprises. In this country. Now, going by that, the industries there has been an explosion of economic activity in the Gambia recently. My sector alone, where I might have employed thousands of young Gambians. Remember, when His Excellency came to power, we started to see an explosion of media houses in this country, both online media, TV stations, radio stations. These things provide employment for young people and the value chain itself. Now, in the tourism and creative industries like hotels and related service providers, tour operators, restaurant and catering, transportation, and there are indirect job creations as well in this sector: construction and infrastructural development, agriculture and local products, cultural and creative industries. All these are potentials for job creation. Now, we have also the entrepreneurship and small business development in the Gambia, local entrepreneurs that are booming in this country, youth employment, revolving loan provided by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We have agriculture and agro businesses and this value chain also providing jobs. The Giraffe Project giving money to young people and Gambians to engage into cashew and rice farming. We have apart from agricultural value chain, manufacturing, industrialization, we've seen an explosion of industries in the country. The steel factory in Sifo, we've seen water bottling companies in this country. We've seen cement factories expanding production like the Jar and the Salam and all that. All this provide employment, create employment for this country. We've also seen information and communication technologies. We've seen fintech, explosion of fintech, expansion of internet access, even expansion of electricity to places where there was not before. Provide jobs for people to go into welding and other jobs that need electricity as well. Construction and real estate is booming. We've seen most apartments coming up. All this is booming. The road constructions, all this provide employment for young people. You can name this, Peter, on and on and on. All this is a list of the potential industry that have created employment. That is why I believe that, and in the absence of the data itself, I believe that with all what is happening, we might have created 150,000 jobs. Look at the finance and microfinance, the banks and insurance companies, the fintech, I don't want to name them because of, advert purposes, but we've seen fintechs exploding in this country, these money transfers, the wallets and so on. All these provide employment.
You can name Wave.
Wave, I wanted to say Wave, yes.
They sponsor the program.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously, yes, all these are industries and they are value chain. We've seen an explosive financial activity in this country. I believe that before we get the right data, we're working on, the Ministry of Trade is working on it to get the data. I believe that if we're able to provide, and this is empirically proven, that from 2021-22, 37,057 jobs. By now, from 27 to date, that's about 8 years. The president's economic policies, creating the right environment, and also what I call the FAF, the freedoms that he has.
FAF?
Yes.
Break it down for us. What's FAF?
FAF are the freedoms, access, and fiscal discipline of His Excellency the President's government. Freedoms, freedom of expression. Now, Gambia, we are almost on challenge with that. Freedom to associate, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. All these things now are guaranteed in this country as opposed to before. We have access.
I celebrated a statement, I think sent through your ministry on the Gambia's participation in the Geneva.
Geneva, exactly. So look at that.
To say that, you know, definitely that our, you know, our freedoms, our fundamental freedoms being, you know, I mean, the government is renewing its commitment, you know, to guaranteeing fundamental freedoms and protecting human rights. That's highly commendable.
A plus. Then you come to the access.
Don't change, please.
They will not change. And then come to access. When it comes to access, Gambians are better off today than they were 25, 30, 40 years ago in terms of access to education classrooms. We've built classrooms, over 6,000 classrooms since 2017 to date, in places that nobody had ever thought there would be.
Places like
Bolibana, the last village in the Gambia, places like Tumana, places like you name it, with computer
Tumana
labs.
never had a school? Or
no, what I'm saying, this kind of new block hospitals that are, you know, state of the art that you would find anywhere with computer labs, in terms of access to education, in terms of access to scholarships for tertiary institutions, in terms of access to TVET education, building TVET institutions across the country for young people to train in fisheries, in agriculture, and other skills as well. In terms of access to electricity, today, in 2023, 65% of Gambians had access to electricity. Today it is 70%. And by the end of this year, we are expanding this to almost 90% at the rate at which we are going. The idea is that by the end of 2025, early 2026, we'll have 100% access, which is, we are far ahead of many countries in the continent in terms of access to electricity. Access to water, we've built more boreholes than the both governments combined. We've built more boreholes to communities, providing access to water for many communities in the country. Access to roads, we've built over 1,000 kilometers of roads as opposed to 800 and something kilometers of roads built by both governments since independence, even before pre-independence. So obviously, the access as well has expanded in all these social sectors as well, due to His Excellency, the President's leadership. Then we come to the fiscal discipline. Our economy has expanded. GRA used to collect almost $30 million alone a couple of years ago. Now they are going in, that's every year. Now they are going to every year. Now they are going to $2 billion a year, expanding our economy.
$2 billion per month.
Sorry, I'm saying per month, exactly, per month. So before it was only $30 million, now they're going to $2 billion per month. So these expansions in the economy, the fiscal discipline, the growth rate of almost 6% at the end of the year, comparing.
Yeah, UDP says that's manufactured figure.
But is it, Peter? What I now want to focus on is that the president and his government is embarking on a transformation never seen before in this country. We are trying to modernize this country. We are trying to treat an ultra modern.
No, we're saying the 5.9 to 6%
that's what I'm saying.
Economic growth is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous because this is data by the the international financial institutions, data by the central bank. This is data that is empirical data. We are focusing on building this country. We cannot engage ourselves in idle talk. So we are focusing on the driving seat.
The opposition is here to keep you on your toes. So, you can come and tell us anything. They claim they go and fact check and come and share, reliable information.
But they have proven time and again that all they do is to mislead and misinform the public. That is why we are not going to engage in that direction of politics. If they want, we can. We are, like we said, we can engage any opposition. We have the facts. We have the data. We're in government.
Who would you like to debate? In UDP, Tombong Sedi?
Would I even want to debate any one of them?
Who would you like to? I'm sure you would like to debate somebody.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah? Okay. No. Think about it.
So what I'm trying to say, Peter, is that we're on the right track. Gambia and Gambians are better off today than they were 20, 25, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. And that is thanks to the leadership of His Excellency the President. Like I said, in terms of the freedoms, the access to social services, but also the fiscal discipline, and also the explosion of our financial.
I don't know what you mean by better off today, because just a couple of years ago, the heated argument I had with your predecessor was about poverty levels. I mean, the UN came out with a report suggesting that poverty rates had gone up in this country, which he he had no idea. I'm talking about Queen Jammeh now. He had no idea about the existence of this report. And he just, started, denying, and it all ended up in a huge explosion. Here you are again saying we're better off today. I mean, it's based on what? Empirical
now,
data?
It depends on how the UN measures poverty rates. That's important for us to understand as a people.
Do you know how it measures poverty?
That depends on I think it's the dollar, has access to money, disposable income.
Yeah.
Per day,
and if that is pegged against the dollar is more expensive now.
That's what I'm saying.
It's easier for people to fall below the poverty line than
if
before.
you have Peter living in Kuntawur, having 10 cows, but disposable income is less than $1, do you count Peter as someone who is poor?
No.
So by the UN, they'll say Peter is poor, but Peter is not really poor. So obviously,
so their rating is based on disposable income.
Exactly, that is it. And sometimes this can be misleading. It doesn't really, context is key. It doesn't get the right picture. It doesn't understand the environment as well. So that is why there are two schools of thought in this, and you have the orthodox.
Because in this country, rather than keep your money, people would invest in cows.
Exactly. So we have the orthodox school of thought, which counts it that way. They have a critical school of thought, which says no. Poverty is not the disposable income. They look at other factors. So this is a debate within international relations theory that we can go on to have, but we don't have time for that. What I'm trying to tell you is that...
On which of the two sides would you be?
Well, when I was a student, I was more on the critical side. I was more convincing that you don't only look at the disposable income. There are other factors that you also have to look at. For example, the question is that why not that people are poor, why are they poor? And what is the reason for that poverty? Is it the system, or do you blame people for their poverty? It's a whole lot of a debate within international relations theory. But what is crucial here is that those measures sometimes can be misleading. Yes, it's good to have it because the benchmarks sometimes are reduced that if you cannot dispose of more than $1.80, they call you to be poor, but perhaps you have other assets that are not counted. That would not make you poor. So for me, I think by and large, Peter, if you look at the accesses that we have now, if you look at people's disposable income, the salary increments from 2017 to date, Gambians are better off today than they were really 20, 25 years ago. And that is backed by evidence.